Good morning, everyone. I'm Shivani Chaturvedi from the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, New Delhi. It is my privilege and honor to welcome you to this session this morning, hosted together with our knowledge partner, Testo India Private Limited. The topic for today's session is Automated Thermal Scanning System, an important tool for safety against COVID-19. As we move forward with unlocking in the new normal, it is essential for all workplaces and public areas to implement effective precautionary measures. This morning's session will be useful in learning about precautionary measures we may implement to protect ourselves. The presenting speaker from Testo today is Mr. Parag Yelegaonkar, who has an engineering background in the electrical stream and also holds an integrated management degree from XLRI Institute, Jamshedpur. He has a vast industrial experience of 30 years and is associated with Testo India for more than 5 years. He is an active member of ASNT, American Society for Non-Destructive Testing, and is a certified Level 3 infrared thermographer from Infraspection Institute, USA. Warm welcome to you, Mr. Yelegaonkar, and we look forward to your insights today.
Thank you.
We also just one more instruction for the attendees, Mr. Yelegaonkar. We would also request the participants to post your questions in the chat box on your screen. The questions will be taken up after the presentation. So I would now like to request Mr. Yelegaonkar to make the presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Shivani. Good morning, all, and a very warm welcome to today's session on automated thermal scanning under the current COVID situation. Hope you also have attended my last session. It was on the fever detection on the same topic. And after that, we have understood the requirement of the Indian industry and Indian government organizations. And Testo has developed a new solution for automated and touch-free system for elevated body temperature scanning. So I will start my presentation today. So this view is Testo headquarters. Now currently this is the corporate office and headquarters of our Testo group. Here we have our management board sits. We have R&D and the manufacturing facility for thermal imaging cameras over here. We also have another facility for manufacturing of various other portable instruments that Testo manufactures for pharmaceutical and power industry, and it is in Lenskis. In both the facilities are in Black Forest, 135 kilometers from the Zurich airport. Testo is a worldwide company, German MNC, having 33 subsidiaries in 25 countries, and we have now 80 sales and service partners all across the continents, and 3 manufacturing facilities in Lenskis, TTZ, and Kinsgarten. And in Berlin, we have a development center, software development center. If you see the board, chairman of board is Mr. Burkhard Konospe, and he is currently heading the board. And there are other gentlemen who looks after the different verticals like IT services, hardware development, and the entire sales. Testo has got a global presence, as I told you, and we have very stable and robust growth, and we are now touching 350 million euro company. So 10% of our investment goes into R&D, and we have 200 developers in Lenskis, TTZ, and Berlin facility. Our main focus is to develop high-tech sensors for various industries, including pharmaceutical, power, and other organizations. So we come to Testo India. Testo India is one of the largest subsidiary for Testo Germany, and the Testo India subsidiary is been incorporated in the year 2006, and our head office is at Pune, where we have sales, marketing, service, and calibration facility. And we also have a presence all across India, and we have our engineers in all metropolitan cities. So presence in Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, and Bangalore is already there. So we also have our wide channel partner network. We have more than 60 channel partners now on board who are taking care about Pan India. Broadly speaking, our product basket goes like this. We have products in gas and particle segment, where we have emission analyzers and flue gas analyzers for boiler industry and thermal power plants and gas-based power plants. Then we have portable systems. In portable systems, we have data loggers, that is temperature and humidity data loggers, and the instruments for food and pharma industries. One of the another biggest segment what we have is the thermal imaging cameras. So we have various kind of variants in this particular segment to meet the need of various industries and various applications. Another segment is transmitter. Here we mainly cater to the nuclear power plants and thermal power plants. And as I told you, we have full-fledged service center and calibration center. Our lab is NABL accredited, and we calibrate all our instruments. And we also calibrate the external instruments from other companies. Okay. And the service engineers are trained in Germany. All the instruments can be repaired and serviced here in Pune at our service facility. Now, today's topic is on the elevated body temperature scanning under the COVID situation, but directly we will not going to jump into that subject. We will first understand some basics about thermography. Now, when we talk on any infrared instrument, when we talk on IR subject, there are three important terms one need to understand. So these are very, very basics, and we have learned in our college days. One is the conduction, convection, and radiation. So what is conduction? So just to brush up our basics, conduction is a heat transfer that happens through or between any solids. Okay. So the heat carries. When we are sitting on the chair, our body heat transfers to the chair. Okay. So that is the conduction. The convection. Convection is the heat transfer that takes place via fluid or gas. Okay. So the wind carries away the heat from the objects. Okay. So this is an example of convection. And the radiation. So today's subject is our radiation, that is infrared radiation. So the heat transfer via varying electromagnetic wavelengths. So that is called the radiation. Okay. So in infrared thermovision camera, we are detecting the radiations. Initially, people say that we are detecting temperature. No, we detect the radiation, and the radiation signal is getting converted into the temperature signal later on with the help of the electronics within the camera. Now we will see quickly how the thermal imager or thermal scanner works. So if you can see here, any object, any body that is warmer than the absolute temperature, that is minus 273.15 degree, emits radiation. And those emitted radiations are seen by the detector through this lens or a window. So this lens is made out of a special glass, and that glass is germanium glass. And it is allowing almost 100% radiations to the detector. And the detector is this. So it sees the radiation signal, and then the radiation signal is converted into the temperature signal with the help of the signal conditioning electronics within the thermovision cameras. And then we can have the thermal image. We can have the thermal pattern over here. So you can see here, so the thermal imaging camera displays the information about the object, the thermal profile of the object, as well as the temperatures. Now, infrared radiation, we will see some important terms. So what is the wavelength in which all the infrared thermal cameras are operating? There are three categories. One is the short wave, medium wave, and long wave infrared. So here you can see the total spectrum of energy, right from gamma to radio waves. And after visible light, there is a spectrum for infrared. And in infrared, we have three ranges. One is short wave, medium wave, and long wave. Okay, short wave is used in non-destructive testing as well as some critical applications and high temperature applications. That is the temperatures ranging beyond 1600, 1800 degree temperatures. And all our applications, electrical, mechanical applications, we have this particular range, 7.5 micron to 14 micron. So this is the long wave range. So here you can see the long wave infrared range. So this was about the spectrum, and now we see the resolution. So when we say the resolution, we all know we are using our digital cameras and mobile cameras, and we talk in megapixels. Okay. So here we have the detector resolution. So infrared resolution and detector resolution, it is one of the same. The higher the resolution, better is the camera, and you can detect the smallest object from even a farthest distance. So here, if you can see the image with 160 by 120. So what is 160? 160 is a horizontal pixels and 120 is a vertical pixels. So these are nothing but the detector. Each pixel is one detector. So 160 multiplied by 120, it's roughly more than 19,000 pixels. More than 19,000 infrared detectors are there, which are mounted on a small chip, and they are called as the microbolometers. And here you can see the detector resolution is 320 into 240. You can see the image. So more the pixels, you can identify the smallest object. You can identify and you can measure. Okay. So this is 320 horizontal and 240 vertical. So this is about the resolution of a thermal imaging camera. Now, another important term which is also applicable in this particular application, like the fever detection, or we say it as elevated body temperature detection. So the term is thermal sensitivity, which is very much popularly used in the technical specifications of any infrared instrument, that is infrared thermovision camera. So it is nothing but the thermal sensitivity is nothing but the noise equivalent temperature differential. Okay, for you to understand quickly, I will go to the earlier slide so that you can clearly understand. The thermal sensitivity is the camera which can find out the minimum temperature difference between any two pixels. So this is nothing but the thermal sensitivity. Here I am talking about NETD, that is noise equivalent temperature differential of 80 millikelvin. The image here is taken with 80 millikelvin thermal sensitivity thermovision camera, and this image has been taken by 50 millikelvin NETD thermovision camera. So you can find out the difference. The difference is clear. Here you can see the smallest changes with the help of colors. So compare this. So lower the thermal sensitivity, better is your camera, where you can find out the smallest changes in temperatures. So 50 millikelvin is 0.05 degrees C and 80 millikelvin is 0.08 degrees C. Then another important parameter or terms are in the thermovision camera or any infrared instrument is emissivity, reflectivity, and transmittivity. So what is emissivity? Here you can see this is the thermovision camera and this is an object. So we will now see what is emissivity. This is the most important term whenever you do any infrared measurements. Any infrared measurements, irrespective you are using the small handheld infrared thermometer or a thermovision camera. Emissivity settings are the most critical setting for any application of thermovision camera. So what is that emissivity is? The emissivity is a measure of ability of a material to emit or to give off the infrared radiations. So this is nothing but emissivity. So there is an ambient, okay? From ambient, there is the incident energy on the object. The object will absorb the incident energy. So some energy will be emitted, some energy will be reflected, and some energy will be passed through. Okay. So reflected, what is reflectivity? Reflectivity is a measure of an ability of a material to reflect infrared radiations. Okay. So this is reflectivity. And transmittivity. Transmittivity is the ability of a material or object to allow infrared radiations to pass through it. But most of the material are not permeable for this infrared radiation, because any infrared instrument, let it be a small infrared thermometer or your thermovision camera, it sees only the surface. Whatever your eyes can see, the thermovision camera or any infrared instrument can detect and measure that only. Any infrared instrument cannot see what is within. So we see only the surface. Now, another important parameter. So why I'm explaining you the purpose, the objective behind this is you should understand whenever somebody gives you a technical data sheet or a brochure. So there are these terms are mentioned. So one must know, one must understand what is what is field of view, what is METD. So that is the reason I'm just quickly going through this. So field of view, it is another important parameter. Now, field of view, it determines the visible image section of a thermal image. In short, in layman's language, what is the field of view of our eyes? So whatever we see with the help of our eyes is our field of view. Okay, so I cannot see what is behind me because it is not coming into my field of view. In the similar way, whatever the lens can see is a field of view angle for that particular lens. So here, for example, if I have 42 degree by 30 degree thermovision camera, 42 horizontal degree and 30 is a vertical degree, vertical angle. So this is horizontal angle and this is vertical angle. So if I have this angle 42 by 30, I can see the complete house. So you can see here the thermal image of an house. But if I go for the narrower lens, that is 31 degree by 23 degree, I can see only this portion of the house. So it depends on the application, what angle we must choose, what lens we must choose. Just to quote an example, if you are doing the thermography of a transmission tower, then you should prefer the narrower lens because we need to see the smallest object which are far away from us and we have to detect and measure the temperature. If we have to do the thermography of a house, then we need a wide angle lens. Now, another important term is IFOV, instantaneous field of view. Again, it is a geometrical and measurable. So what is geometrical field of view? Instantaneous field of view. It is the minimum object size that your camera can detect. Okay, just to give you an example, it is given always in milliradians. Okay, suppose if somebody is giving me a camera with 3.4 milliradian IFOV, then from the distance of 1 meter, I can detect the object size of 3.4 milliradian, but I cannot measure it. So what is the measurable? What is IFOV measure? IFOV measure is the IFOV geometric multiplied by 3. Okay, so this is about the IFOV. Now we will come to our subject. This was about some theoretical part, which may be repetition for few people, but for newcomers and the people who are not aware about this infrared, I thought I will just run through this. Now we will see the fever detection or elevated body temperature. So what is, we always call it as the elevated body temperature because it is not an absolute temperature measurement, but it's a relative temperature measurement. Okay, so before COVID-19, right, we were cool. I mean, there were social gatherings, there were outings, trips, okay, there were office parties, get-togethers, but after COVID, now there are restrictions. So we cannot go freely outside, okay? So what are the measures that one must take? You all are aware. So wearing masks, sanitizing, social distancing, and thermal scanning. So when it comes to the public place, when it comes to the industry, when it comes to the office, so this is the most important, one of the most important measure that one must take in addition to these three. Yeah, so what thermal imaging camera can do about this to stop the spread of this coronavirus? Okay, So since there is a vaccine for coronavirus, it's still months away. Okay, perhaps even a year. We don't know. Maybe next 3 months, 6 months it will come. But mass distribution is a challenge. Okay, even if it comes, the vaccine will be given in stages. Even if it is produced, maybe in the first quarter of the next year, but distribution is a lengthy process. And the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, they are already planning this mass distribution process, the mass distribution project for this particular vaccine. So whenever it will come. So it is far away from us to reach to a common man. Okay. Before that, I mean, if it is far away, if the situation is this, then the only point, the only measure remains with us is to take the precaution. Okay, so we cannot stop working, we cannot stop our manufacturing, but economy has to grow. Economy has to run. There, everything cannot be standstill. Okay, in the month of April and May, we have seen the lockdown where we were not allowed to go out of the home. But we have suffered a lot on our economic front. Okay, so we have to open, we have to start our operations, and already those operations have started, but the measures are required. So thanks to the latest technology in infrared scanning, we have to detect the febrile persons with the help of elevated body temperature scanning system. So the blessing is we have the system for prevention, since there is no cure or a vaccine as yet. Quickly see the pandemic curve. Now we are here at peak. Okay, maybe here in India the cases are getting reduced, but why they are getting reduced, we do not know. Is it because we have reduced the testing, or it is really because the cases are getting reduced? We hope on the positive side the cases are getting reduced, but yes, still we are here. Okay. Yeah. So as per World Health Organization, WHO, the normal human body temperature remains around 36.5 to 37.3 or maybe 37.5 sometimes, regardless of external temperature conditions. So whenever, what if our body is a temperature regulator? In our brain, there is a tympanic membrane which controls the body temperature. Okay, irrespective of whether you are sitting in an air conditioned room that is having the temperature of 22 degree or 20 degree, or you have you are externally, I mean you are outdoor where the ambient temperature is more than 42 45 degrees. So irrespective of the ambient condition, our body tries to maintain the core body temperature equal to 36.5 to 37.3. Okay, that is called the body temperature regulation. So to brief your employees and contractor and customer that if COVID-19 starts spreading in the community, okay, anyone with even a mild cough or low grade fever, what we call as low grade fever, if your body temperature is more than 37.3 degree, that is called low grade or mild fever. Okay, so in that case, the only measure you can take is just stay home. It doesn't mean that you have COVID-19. Okay, so just stay home, take precautions, consult doctor, and maybe take medicines as per the doctor's advice. So the best way to protect yourself under this situation is to wear mask and social distance. Now quickly, just for everybody's knowledge, what is the situation till yesterday? So globally, if you see here, the United States is still on the top with 81.84 lakhs, and India is second. India is not too far from United States. It is 77.06 lakhs. Okay, and then Brazil, Russia, and so on and so forth. The Argentina, Spain. Now the important point here is we should not forget the countries like European countries, Spain, France, Italy, and Germany. If you see a couple of months back situation in these countries, the cases were reducing, but all of a sudden, since last fortnight, the cases have started increasing, and you can see here the count per day count of affected people in France, 25,000, Spain, 16,000, UK, 26,000, Italy, 15,000, Germany, 11,000. So now again, as the winter started, the counts are getting increased, and that is the concerning situation. And some of the countries, they are now going for again the lockdown. But we do not want to go into that particular situation. That is why the measures are required. Now we come back to India. The India situation. The India situation is not at all good. You can see here, and the state where we are Maharashtra, is the most and worst affected state as far as the affected and the death rate is concerned. After Maharashtra, the Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka state, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and Kerala. Surprisingly, Kerala and Delhi also showing increased trend. So that is the reason why I am emphasizing on that, is to have the measures for self and for our employees, for our colleagues, for our family. So we come back to the escalated or elevated body temperature measurements to stop the spread. So we go to some basics about this. Now, when we say a person catches fever, then he or she is more contagious to spread this disease. Okay, so when person catches fever, then he can spread this disease very fast. Okay, and that is why we have to take the care of the sick persons at workplace, at family, at child spaces, that is schools and colleges. So most of the places like government organizations, private organizations, the industry, schools, colleges, government offices, railway stations, metro stations, all public places where the scannings are very, very important. The skin temperature measurement. Okay, so using thermal scanners to maintain the non-contact conditions. Now, non-contact body temperature measurements. What is our objective? Our objective is to prevent the spread of this latest epidemic, COVID-19, obviously. So when we stop the spread, we will be very, very much in the comfortable situation very soon. So detect elevated body temperatures that is caused either by COVID-19 or any other diseases like H1N1 is also a cause. Okay, so we have to detect the elevated body temperature, people with elevated body temperatures. But how? With the help of non-contact and non-invasive method, because it is the first step of detection of febrile condition of a human being. While we set our objective, we have to also see how efficiently and how effectively we are doing this thermal scanning. Our systems, our instruments should be effective and efficient. Okay, when I say efficient, I'm referring to the industry. I'm referring to the manufacturing places where we have 100, 500, 1,000, 5,000 people. When it comes to IT industry, there are almost 5,000, 10,000 people working. There are IT industries we know where 5,000, 10,000 people are working. Okay, but yes, currently most of the major IT industry is working from home. But some of the other day, they have to come to the office. Lifelong, they cannot work from home. Maybe, okay, I'm not sure. But because this is the condition, sometimes physical presence is very much required. So the measures are important. Our another objective is to minimize the number of false negative. We call it as false negative cases. Means if the person is having fever but it is not getting detected. Okay, why? So when it comes to the forehead infrared thermometer measurements, it is quite possible that people will go with this fever but not detected. Why? Because there are reasons. I'm going to come back why it is not possible, why there is a risk with the help of IR thermometers. Now, IR thermometer is a point temperature measurement instrument, and that measures the skin temperature, or some people they check here at the wrist. But let me tell you, when the temperature at the surface skin, maybe forehead or hand, is checked, it is prone is subjected to the surrounding conditions. It is subjected to the person who is under screening, from where he or she is coming from. Whether somebody is immediately getting down from a chilled car, maybe a car where the temperatures are kept, the air conditioner temperatures are set 20, 22 degree or 18 degree. Immediately he comes out of his car and he goes for the testing with infrared thermometer, either on the forehead or on the wrist. His or her temperature is going to show less, because the thermal gun, that is infrared thermometer, shows the point temperature. So there is a chances where the temperature will be shown even if that person is having fever. So this is one of the risks which is associated with currently the small IR thermometer, the cheaply available thermometers in the market. And we all know, you have noticed, most of the places they are using the small IR gun. From where that gun is coming from, who is the manufacturer, what is the accuracy level, what are the certifications they have. So all these things need to be checked. So with respect to thermal imaging camera, the thermal scanning, I am going to come to the next slide where I am going to give you the brief. Yeah. Now, what is the difference between infrared thermovision camera or scanner for this particular application and infrared thermometer, what I was talking about? Okay. Infrared thermovision cameras are as accurate as 0.5 degrees C. The options for attended and self-service, that is attended and automated systems, is available here. Okay. So whereas infrared thermometers are also coming with the same accuracy, but they are used because they are budget friendly, they are cheaply available. Okay. And here, most important thing, you have to consider is operator. Here, for checking the temperature, the operator is required, and most of the time the security person has been assigned this particular activity. Okay. How he is checking, at what distance he is checking, how religiously he is checking, whether he is keeping the same distance all the time, whether he is wearing mask when he is testing the people all the time. Who is keeping the watch? I cannot say this is 100% or religiously followed, because we do not have a control over the operator, how he is checking. That is one of the disadvantage or the concern area as far as the infrared thermometers are concerned. Now we come back to thermovision camera or scanner. It produces image or video with temperature displayed on the monitor. Okay, video means streaming. I am talking about streaming, not recording. Recording is not required. Even if we get the image, that is good enough. So measure the temperature every pixel. As I told you when I was explaining you the detector size or the resolution, the thermovision camera measures temperature of each and every pixel. If I have 160, 120 thermovision camera, that is infrared detector resolution, I am going to get 19,200 temperature reading. Okay, so that is the difference. And here I am getting only the single point temperature, right? So that is the major difference. So here I am going to get the entire array. We call it as an array. When I say horizontal and vertical pixel, it's an array. So capturing the individual entire face, the imager can capture the individual face, the complete face. Scan temperatures from 1 to 1.5 meter away. So here you can see with small infrared thermometer, you have to scan from 5 to 15 centimeter. So you are very close. So you are within 1 meter radius of that particular person who is checking. So here in thermovision camera, it includes software with facial detection. So face detection feature is there. Go-no-go alerts are possible. Go-no-go alerts, when I say, you should be able to identify from a sufficient distance, maybe 15, 20 meter also, one should able to find out that yes, that he or she is safe, or he or she is in the red area. Red zone means having elevated body temperatures. Such systems can give an interface to the access control also. What does that mean? If somebody is detected with red, that is elevated body temperature, the access door will not open. Such kind of interlocks can be given. And of course, the centralized monitoring is possible if your PC is connected on the LAN. Here, no such provisions in case of infrared thermometer. Data correlation and identification of a person is next to impossible. It will only take on readings, and few readings will be saved. But which reading relates to who? It is not possible. That is a major concern area with respect to the non-contact thermometer. Now there is always a debate when it comes to the temperature scanning, when it comes to the thermovision scanning, there is always a debate which one is more accurate, eye or ear. Okay, so what is more convenient for thermal scanning point of view? That is equally important. What is important? What is important? So this topic of debate we will see in the next two slides here. Now, ear duct and ear canal temperature correlations. Okay, so what is most accurate? So however, now we see the tympanic membrane. I was just talking about tympanic membrane initially before some time. Tympanic membrane is an organ in the human brain which controls the body temperature. Okay, so the tympanic membrane or ear can give most accurate basal temperature if you are accessing it. You should be able to access it conveniently. Is it possible to access the ear canal conveniently? No. But yes, it is this area, it is called as the inner canthus of eye, where top and bottom eyelid meets. So this is the area which gives the maximum temperature on a person's face. Why this area? Because the nerves from this tympanic membrane to the other parts of the body, they passes through this area. So here, the temperature which is detected by any thermovision camera, that is the hottest spot, is near to the core body temperature. That is why this method is most convenient for checking, for using for thermovision scanning for a human being. So here you can see, if I do this ear canal, the temperature is 30.5.6, and here I am getting 34.9. Okay, so almost the temperatures are same, no major difference. Now you see, this method has also been suggested in IC 806101-2-59. Okay, it is the area in the media adjacent to the inner corner of the eye that is excellent for fever screening. So this is defined, this is mentioned in this technical standard, IEC standard. Okay, so this is due to the temperature stability in this area. This is what IEC says. Okay, so this is due to the temperature stability in this area, as it is located directly above the passing carotid artery. So I was just mentioning the nerves or arteries which are passing through here, right? Now, so who is detected with fever? Just a small animation. You can see the thermal image. Why I'm showing you? Just observe the thermal image. He or she is green, red. You can see the thermal image. Again green. You can see the thermal image when it is green, and again red. Okay. So who is detected with fever? This person and this person. Now, what Testo solution? When we say automated and touch-free elevated body temperature detection system or the kiosk, so what do we have? We have this thermovision camera with thermal resolution. This detector resolution is 320 to 40, and we have thermal resolution with our super resolution technology. It gives 640 into 480 thermal pixels. Here we have adjustable temperature range. So what is the fever range? Fever detection range? It is 30 to 45. You can always set the camera in auto mode and manual mode. Thermal sensitivity for this particular scanner is 0.06 degree, that is 60 millikelvin. It is always measured at 30 degrees. So measurement accuracy is plus or minus 0.5 degrees C or fewer measurement range. Automatic recognition of hotspot, and it comes with thermography app, and it is an autofocus thermovision camera or a scanner. So what are the features that we have added considering this application? So the system has automatic face detection, automatic image capturing. Automatic image capturing means visual as well as thermal. Automatic recording of maximum temperatures. So where we are recording the maximum temperature? In the inner canthus of eye. Continuous operation while mounted on the kiosk. So how the kiosk looks like? This is the kiosk. Here you can say go, no go, or say alerts. The red, obviously it indicates the person detected with elevated body temperature. When the green light is illuminated, the person has no fever risk. This is the thermal camera or a scanner, and the visual high definition camera, the monitor, okay, and there is a CPU behind. Of course, you can also have the monitor. Nowadays, the monitor with CPU also option is available. That also can be given. So automated face detection with recording of maximum temperature in eye, capturing person's thermal as well as visual image. Audible alarm. Audible alarm is also possible when there is a person who is detected with elevated body temperature. The LED, the red LED will glow, and simultaneously there will be a hooter, so that the security person or the person administrating this activity will get this alert, and they can take the action. Further, they can take that person to see the doctor and further medical checkups. As I told you, there is also a potential free relay contact is given for access control door. So if the person is detected with elevated body temperature, the access door will remain closed. If the person is not having any fever risk, okay, period is most important. So when the COVID started and when the thermal scanning started, many industries, many entrepreneurs, they approached us for this periodic reports, maybe for their records, maybe for showing it to their authorities, medical authorities, doctors, and health professionals. That periodic reports comes with daily, weekly, fortnightly, monthly basis, or you have a choice. You can set the date and get the report. Okay, how that happens, we are going to see. So provision of interface with time and attendance system. Optionally, the system can be interfaced with the existing time and attendance system. Also, the data can be put onto the cloud optionally. Now, what are the software features that we will see? So, what is the software? So, once this system has to be initially installed and commissioned, and only during that time you have to provide certain details at once. So, this is the user login. So, you can be admin. There are different users you can add. You can delete user. You can modify users. Okay, multiple users you can add. User means those who are maintaining this particular thing. Okay, maintaining means it doesn't require any attention, but if somebody has to extract the report, then only they have to go to the system after initial commissioning. Then the system goes to this particular menu where EBT, that is elevated body temperature test, configuration. Configuration means this you have to do initially at once. Okay, where you can give the folder path where you want to save the file, Excel file, the report file. Then you can set the alarm threshold values. You can set the temperature you need, whether you want temperature in degree C or degree F, which image type you need. So all sort of detail only once initially during commissioning you can put it over here. Then the generation of periodic report in Excel format. We have kept very user-friendly format as Excel. It's a simple and everybody can understand, everybody can use that Excel data. So we have kept it Excel data format for reporting. After that, I am just taking you what all you have to do in configuration. As I told you, you can give the report folder path where you want to save the image. So the Wi-Fi connectivity for the thermal scanner. So here you can put the serial number. Of course, this job is done at once initially, where the our channel partner engineer or maybe Testo engineer will be present initially. So webcam interface, there is another hardware is there, so this has to be done once. EBT data elimination time interval. I am going to explain you this in detail, why we have kept this. This is to meet GDPR and PDPA regulation. GDPR is General Data Processing Act, which is applicable for European countries, America, and PDPA is applicable for PDPA is Personal Data Protection. It is applicable for India. Here, you can set the time interval. For this particular time interval, you need that data to be saved. Maybe a image saving to meet that criteria. So our system is compliant to GDPR and PDPA. Alarm threshold temperature you can set. Okay. So if you consult your doctor, he may suggest to keep 97.5 or 98.5 or 99. Okay. So it is as per the local health professional, you can set this threshold point above which the system will give you the red alarm or green alarm if the temperature is within this particular threshold. Then you can set the temperature units. So EBT tolerance. So here we always give one. So we give a small tolerance because whatever reading we enter over here, it is added into this and that is your new threshold point. These are some system details. Report image type. In this, you can have either visual image with temperature data or thermal image with temperature data, or you can have both. So that means in the report, you need both the images, that is infrared image as well as visual image. But somebody, if you want to restrict the identification, they can always select the operation, the image type, what they are interested in. Threshold point calculation. Currently it is automatic. The threshold point, then it is calculated automatically by the system. Do you want to save image only EBT detected images? That means if somebody wants not to have too much data, maybe people who are healthy, people who are not having fever risk, they don't want the data to be saved. That option is always possible. Some people, they want only the people detected with elevated body temperature. So in that case, you can just enable this, click this. Here you get only the report of the data of only EBT detected, that is people having fever risk. Then system checks, continues, it checks for the hardware and then move further. Now this is the screen where it will be displayed on the main menu. Okay, the real-time data acquisition. So here you get the total count, how many people scanned that on that day, what was my threshold point, how many people detected with fever, and how many people are normal. So this normal people count of elevated body temperature detected people and total count is available for that particular day. Here you can get the real-time clock as well as the date of scanning. In this particular window, you will get the thermal streaming, thermal image. And here you get the visual image. Who is that person under screening? And after screening, the images will be located over here one by one. So here is how the EBT test progresses. This menu pops up once the person is in front of the camera. Here the EBT test is in progress. This happens very fast. I'm just explaining you in detail how the system works. If he or she is well within this threshold point, then the display gives the green light and say, please proceed. So this is how the EBT test gets completed. Within 2 to 3 seconds, the person is out. If the person is detected with elevated body temperature, you will get the system pop up like this. Please stop and proceed for further medical checkup with his or her temperature. Also, there will be an alarm. Then we come to the reporting system. So reporting system, you can extract the report day-wise. As I told you, you can put start date, end date. If you want to report for that particular day, put same date over here and over here. Start and end date should be the same. If you want to extract the report for one day, for the day. So here on the EBT report, whenever you click on the IR, you will get the IR image. If you are clicking on the visual image like this, so you will get the visual image also with temperature information. And then you can just click here and go to Excel file and see the report in Excel. So this is the Excel report. If I set both, earlier in configuration I had set both, that I need both images, thermal as well as visual, with temperature information. So here is the temperature information, date and time, that is also available. You can also extract only the Excel file with temperature information. So here, if you open that file, you will get Excel file where you have date, time, temperature detected with EBT. So here you can see 5 people detected with EBT. This is just an example I am giving you. And here the temperature of normal people. So this is also available. Our system is foolproof. Why we say foolproof? We have many attachments that we can give optionally. It is as per the customer's choice. The system can be connected to such small tiny printer where you can have this ticket. So why we have kept this? We have kept it for the critical government organizations like in India, DRDO, Air Force, Army, Navy. Okay. Once the person is scanned, his or her sticker will be immediately printed out, automatically printed out with temperature information, date, time, and his identification number with his image. So this is for critical organizations. You can also interface USB or RFID scanners for the identification. Yeah, I was just explaining you that our system is complying to GDPR and PDPA. So the GDPR carries provision that requires business or entities to protect personal data privacy of European citizens for transactions that occur within EU member states. Thus, the GDPR remains applicable to Indian commerce companies also, which conduct transactions with European citizens. This is GDPR. India answers to this GDPR. What is that? So the data protection and legislation set to pass this year in its latest version, the PDPA. So PDPA is the Personal Data Protection Act, which will govern how the personal information is handled by business and government bodies within India. The highlights in this pillar, how the technology company must manage the data of Indian citizens. That is for PDPA. Now, the GDPR does not dictate how long you should keep the personal data. It is up to the user, it is up to you to justify. That is why we are giving the software. It is you have to justify that how many days you need the data. The system will keep the data accordingly. So based on your setting, the data can be kept on the system, the local computer or the server. So this is about the compliance to GDPR and PDPA. Now, EBT temperature scanning protocol. This is very, very important. Okay, one has to follow that protocol. So now, this is just an example in factory. Okay, where you can mount at the entrances this particular kiosk. When it comes to the large factory, the entrances are to be covered with this particular precautionary measure. There are various entrances. Okay, so at exit it is not required, but at entrance it is must. Now here the person, the distance from the camera to person is 1 to 1.5 meter. Yeah. No glasses. Why no glasses? Because the normal glass that our spectacle is a normal glass. It blocks the radiations. We are essentially measuring the temperature in inner canvas. So if somebody is wearing goggle or glasses, that spectacle, then the glass stops the radiation and we are not going to get correct temperatures. Face should be uncovered. Okay. For that 2 seconds, you need to remove your mask and glasses. Okay. So for that particular 2 seconds, why not mask? Because due to mask, there is a hot air which can come. Okay, you can see if you wear a mask, little hot air comes out. Okay, so for that particular instance, you need to remove the mask because nobody is going to be near you. So it is always safe for the scanning during the scanning. So no hair on forehead and ear, eyes. The emissivity of the camera should be 0.98 for the human skin. The distance, as I have referred, height of the camera should be such adjusted that considering the lowest person's height, temperature set point can be 37.3, or maybe if you want to be on the conservative side, you can reduce that. Background should be matte. There should not be any radiations from lights, windows, or doors. So this is the pictorial view for the protocol. One person at a time. The scanning, as per US FDA and IEC, one person at a time. Multiple face scanning is ruled out. That is not correct. There are many companies in India, they come up from overseas, okay, with a very cheaper camera. They say that our camera can scan multiple faces, but that is not correct. As per infrared scanning science, multiple face scanning doesn't give you the correct temperatures. So single person scanning at a time is the most reliable and safe method. So the scanning is indoor. It has to be indoor. Outdoor is generally not recommended because there are surrounding temperature, air currents are there. Okay, the room temperature should be normally when it is indoor, our temperatures are 24, 25 degrees. Relative humidity should be 50%, not more than that, preferably. So avoid reflective backgrounds. There should not be any air draft or air current. There should not be any radiant heat nearby, heater or something like that. Avoid strong lighting. Okay, so these are certain protocols. These protocols are not only for only Testo scanner. These protocols are for all thermal scanning measurements. Okay. So powering up the system. Generally, this camera or the system should be switched on before 30 minutes when you are prior to your scanning, because the entire surrounding and the camera should be under the optimal equilibrium. So this is also most important thing as far as the scanning is concerned, apart from height adjustment and the software configurations that you have to initially do. Some facts about thermal scanning and market misconceptions. As I told you, the multiple face scanning is not allowed. There are many myths actually, and there are many misconceptions. Here I would advise, here I had one big presentation on these misconceptions, but because of the time constraints and some criticalities, I'm not going to present this. But if somebody is interested, they can directly contact us on this particular topic, okay, individually. Here we want to show the facts. You can also visit IPVM website to understand this. Now, what are the applications that we see? So the airport, hospitals, factories, theaters, offices, education, that is schools and colleges, theme parks. Now these are going to start, arenas. Okay, the entrance gates, lobbies of IT industry, corporate offices, administrative buildings of the government and private industries, entry points at stations, that is railway stations, metro stations, hospitals, COVID centers, government laboratories, government workshops and factories, R&D centers, institutes, schools, colleges, IIT, NITs, factories and workshops, supermarket, malls, theaters, ceremony halls and exhibition halls. There are few examples, but applications could be many more. Generally, such kiosks are available within 3 weeks if the quantity is 1. If the quantity is more than 1, that is 3 or 5 numbers, it is maximum within 6 weeks. Maybe earlier also is possible. I would request IGCC Shivani to run the video. So I would like to give you a live demonstration of the system quickly via this video. So may I request Shivani if you can advise someone to run the video.
Yes, Mr. Yelagavkar, it's just going to be played.
Sorry. I hope I am audible. I hope I am audible.
Yes, Mr. Yelagavkar, please continue.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that video. I hope the participants, they have seen the live demonstration of the system. Okay, so this is about the system live demo. And now here we have come to an end and the session is open for the questions. So I completed my presentation and I'm ready to answer to the questions, whatever you have.
Yes, Mr. Yelagavkar, we have one question.
Yeah.
Please clarify whether the mobile infrared scanner aimed at the forehead is safe or should it only be aimed at the wrist?
And the thermometer you are talking about, can you repeat the question?
I'll just repeat it. Please clarify whether the mobile infrared scanner aimed at the forehead is safe, or should it only be aimed at the wrist?
For thermal imaging camera, if you're talking about thermal imaging camera, it covers the face. Covering face is important. It automatically detects the highest temperature in the eyes, that is inner canthus of eye, which is normally the highest temperature on human being's face. And if you're talking about the small thermometer, infrared thermometer, then forehead is preferred rather than the wrist. But again, I have briefed the advantages and disadvantages of thermovision and scanner and non-contact thermometer or thermal gun.
Okay. So the next question we've received is, does the ambient temperature play role against body temperature detection as the skin is exposed to ambient air?
Yeah. 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 See, that is the reason we are detecting the highest point in the inner canthus, that is on the face, because there are surrounding conditions, and the inner canthus of eye temperature is the most convenient and near to core body temperature, which thermal scanner can automatically detect, irrespective of you are in whatever the ambient temperature. And generally the guideline, the protocol I already briefed you.
Okay. Now we have one more question. Would like to know how the German industry is coping with the lockdown, to continue to discuss methods of preparing the situation when normalcy returns in the BMH industry.
Okay. So as I told you, the industries, most of the industries, the manufacturer have already started. Okay, I think there are very few industries which are closed, but the manufacturing, actually the shop floor, at ground, the manufacturing is already begun. And the care is being taken with the, by following the measures like hand sanitization, washing hands, masks, and the thermal scanning. But the thermal scanning is most important, as I told you, because when person catches fever, he or she is more dangerous to spread that COVID-19 disease. So thermal scanning is one of the most important tool when it comes to the industry, when it comes to the workplace, manufacturing places. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, we've just received one more question. How do you identify that a particular data belongs to a particular person in the Excel sheet?
Yeah. So as regards to the thermal scanner, the thermal scanning kiosk that we offer, his or her image can be automatically captured, thermal image as well as the visual image, along with his or her temperature data. So whatever the temperature is detected by the camera within the inner canthus of eye is displayed with date, time, and his visual image, his or her visual image, along with thermal image. And you also have a choice whether to have thermal image or visual image or both.
Okay. And how many people can be tested in 1 hour?
Per person, I can tell you, per person 2 to 3 seconds. That is what is required for any system if they are to genuinely do the scanning. There are companies in market who offer very quick, within a second or within a fraction of second testing. That is not possible as per the infrared science. If somebody is telling that within 1 second our systems can scan, that is practically and theoretically and as per infrared science is not possible. The minimum time which required for scanning is 2 to 3 seconds. If somebody wants to genuinely do this, if somebody wants to do just for the sake of doing, just for showing we are doing, yeah, they can prefer any system.
Okay. So we have one last question. Can thermal scanning be done in an open area without reflective background, or is it necessary to be done only in a closed area?
Yeah, preferably, yes, you can do outside, but just make sure that you have barriers. Okay, whenever if the kiosk is kept, if the person is going to see the kiosk, on his left and right side, just put a barrier and just put behind one small curtain. There are very cheaply available curtains in the market, the black or gray curtain behind the person. So if somebody wants to do outdoor, they have to take these precautions. But generally, it is preferred to do indoor. But outdoor scanning is not ruled out, I would say. But we need to take these precautions. We can give the advice.
Okay, great. There are some more queries which we will send to you by email, and the companies you can reply to them directly.
Okay.
So I think there are no further questions. So on behalf of the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce, I would like to thank Testo India and Mr. Yelagaonkar for this very, very informative and detailed and interactive session. As what we have learned is precaution is better than cure, but when there is no cure, I think precaution is doubly important. We would also like to thank the attendees for their participation. In case you have any questions which are unanswered, Testo India will reply to the same via email. Please note that the recorded version of this webinar will be available on the Testo page of the German Digital Days. Details of the registration for the same will be sent to you via email. Thank you very much for your attention and have a great weekend.